Are you a business owner stuck in fear, doubt, and worry about what the marketplace will look like in the future? Then this show is for you. Strap on your seatbelt and get ready to disrupt and innovate. Here's your host, Lisa Levy.
Welcome to Disrupt and Innovate. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Yep, there's no guest, no interview. You just get to hear from me because we've hit a real milestone, 180 episodes. That's 180 conversations with founders, creators, executive, innovators, the people who are willing to challenge the status quo and make a positive impact. And before I say anything else, I want to say thank you. If you've listened, shared an episode, recommended a guest, or supported this show in any way, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this journey. When I started Disrupt and Innovate, the goal was simple: have meaningful conversations with people who do interesting and important work. And over 180 episodes later, we have done that. We have heard stories about reinvention, leadership, creativity, resilience, and most importantly, change. But when you do something for 180 episodes, you learn a lot. You learn what makes a conversation memorable. You learn what makes a conversation useful. And you learn that those two are not always the same thing. And that revelation led to this next step. Because as proud as I am about what we've built, I also know this: I don't want this show to become a place where guests come on to talk about themselves, promote their businesses, and simply leave. That's not the job of this show. My responsibility is not just to the guest. My responsibility is to you, the listener. So we're making a shift. It's not a complete reinvention. Let's call it a refinement. We're going to get sharper and tighter. It's a more useful version of Disrupt and Innovate. Going forward, the show will be built around one core idea. The guest is not the hero. The problem is the hero. The challenge the audience is facing, the tension inside an industry, the decisions that need to be made, these become the center of the episodes. Our guests are here because they help us understand it, challenge it, and break it down. This changes the format in a big way. Each episode will be designed around a very clear promise. You, the audience, will walk away with something useful. A better question, a practical framework, a cautionary lesson, a real takeaway that you can apply. This show is going to get tighter and more intentional. There'll be less of me wandering around being curious, less of the guest resume, less polished talking point theater. We want more substance, more clarity, more value. Here's what that means in practice. First, more specificity. If a guest says an industry is broken, I'm going to ask how exactly. If they say their company helps you grow, I'm going to ask what changed. If they say they save money, improve outcomes, and drive innovation, I'm going to ask according to what metrics. Second, more honesty. I'm less interested in perfect success stories. I'm more interested in what failed, what got messy, what surprised them, and what would they do differently now that they have perspective, because that's where real insight usually lives. And third, we're going to do less promotion, more practical value. Guests can talk about their work that proves their capability, but the show itself is not going to function as an infomercial. If someone brings a bold idea, great, we'll explore it. We'll also test it. Where does it work? Where does it break? Who does it benefit? Who doesn't benefit? What would a skeptic say about their approach? This isn't about being adversarial. It's about being useful. It's about having an impactful and meaningful conversation. And frankly, it's about respecting your time. So yes, after 180 episodes, Disrupt and Innovate is evolving. Not because the first one weren't valuable, they were. That experience built the foundation for everything that this show is. But that time and those conversations also taught me something very important. A good conversation is not automatically a useful one. And if this show is going to keep growing, it has to become more disciplined about and delivering value, not just visibility. That's the shift we're making, and you, the audience, can expect tighter episodes, sharper questions, less fluff, more challenge, more clarity. it will still be fun, and these conversations will leave you with something you can actually use. If you've been with me for a while, thank you. Thank you for growing with the show. If you're new here, welcome. You're joining at the beginning of a really strong new chapter. And if you've ever wanted interviews that go beyond the polished version and get the insight underneath, that's exactly where we're headed. Here's to the first 180 episodes and what comes next. I'm Lisa L. Levy. Thanks for listening to Disrupt and Innovate. And if you've been around a while, you know the rules. Don't get left behind. Join me next time.
That's it for today's episode of Disrupt and Innovate.